listening to Faith on Trial on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. We have with us our old friend Matt Lamb, who is the associate editor at the College Fix, and who is, I guess, our man about town everywhere, finding different stories for us. You must spend a lot of time either out on the road or on the phone, Matt.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. My reporter, Hudson Crozier at the University of North Texas, actually identified this story out of the University of Maryland. So I have about 30 to 40 students. We have probably about 100 or so reporters. So we're certainly all over the country looking out for different stories, including this concerning one at the University of Maryland.
Yeah, let's stop for just a minute and explain what the College Fix is again, because every time I have you on the program, I wish there was a College Fix or something like it when I was studying journalism at Creighton. I would have had an outlet for my writing and reporting then.
Yeah, so the collegefix.com, we're center-right, but we're focused on the basic skills of journalism. And so we train college students in journalism by having them report on higher education, not just their own university, but universities across the country. And so we mentor students, we assign them articles, teach them how to do interviews, and then we also will place a select number of students every semester and in the summer at fellowships with places like the Washington Examiner, Fox News, and the Daily Caller.
Yeah, I would have loved that when I was in college. But so I had to spend my time drinking beer. That's just what you did back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about this case that we have from, the University of Maryland?
Exactly. So the University of Maryland has a terrorism center. It's called the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism. And this is funded with our taxpayer dollars through the Department of Homeland Security. And it lists pro-life organizations like Pro-Life Action League and Students for Life of America as terrorist groups alongside the Ku Klux Klan and Al-Qaeda.
And probably the Latin Mass folks.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure they're on there too, thanks to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It sounds a lot like the Southern Poverty Law Center. All right, so what have they done now besides listing these groups as potential terrorists or actually as terrorists?
So there are two people affiliated with Students for Life, and they don't use the names of the students, but you could easily figure it out from the description, who are on the database for what appears to be an incident where they chalked or they used paint. They wrote with a washable substance, Black Preborn Lives Matter, in front of a D.C. Planned Parenthood in August 2020. Your listeners probably remember that after the killing of George Floyd in May 2020, there were all of these protests as well as violent riots, as some of them turned out to be, and that the mayor of D.C. actually had, I believe it was Black Lives Matter, painted on a street. Mm-hmm. And so these individuals, they were trying to test whether or not they would have the same free speech rights to write something similar on a public sidewalk, and they were ultimately arrested, but the charges were dropped.